Can you use 80 grain 243 bullets to shoot deer in the UK? It's a question that comes up occasionally and there's some confusion surrounding it. By the end of this video, you'll know the answer. So the confusion comes from the differences in law between the 4 countries of the UK. There are slightly different laws between each one. I'm going to simplify things slightly to start off with and say, let's look for the legal minimums to shoot all species of deer. We want a bullet and calibre combination to shoot all species of deer in the UK. We'll come on to smaller species of deer at the end because there is a slight difference in law for the smaller species. So let's start off with Northern Ireland. So Northern Ireland, we need a bullet of more than, or a calibre of more than 0.236 of an inch in combination with a bullet of 100 grain minimum and muzzle energy of 1700 foot-pounds. So automatically the minimum of 100 grain bullet or projectile means that the 80 grain in Northern Ireland cannot be used to shoot all species of deer. As I said, small species, slight difference. But let's go on to look at England and Wales next. So England and Wales, for all species of deer in England and Wales, we need to find a calibre and minimum muzzle energy. So the minimum calibre being 0.240, the minimum muzzle energy is 1700 foot-pounds. So we need to ensure that, because there's no minimum bullet weight, we need to ensure that that 80 grain projectile is delivering a minimum of 1700 foot-pounds at the muzzle. In Scotland, calibre is not specified, minimum calibre is not specified. However, we need to find a bullet calibre combination of not less than 1750 foot-pounds at the muzzle. So that's the energy. Velocity, minimum of 2,450 feet per second. And a minimum projectile or bullet weight of 80 grains. So we need to calculate the energy of this 243 80 grain projectile. There are some complicated equations, maths to do to reach that, but luckily for us mere mortals that don't have mathematical brains, me included, go to Google, look up bullet energy calculator, and it will give you an option to punch the details in and get an answer. So we need the mass of the projectile, 80 grains, and we need the velocity at the muzzle. So you'll need to shoot your own 243 over a chronograph to get that accurately. What you'll find is if you can push that 80 grain projectile at more than 3,150 feet per second, that will give you a muzzle energy of just over 1,750 foot-pounds, which is the legal minimum muzzle energy in Scotland for all species of deer. That's achievable depending on barrel length, because the longer the barrel, the more length the powder has to act. So super short barrels, you'll have to look at that over a chronograph. So small species of deer. Small species of deer in England and Wales, muntjac and Chinese water deer. The minimum is slightly lower, 1,000 foot-pounds at the muzzle, minimum of 0.224 of an inch, so we're talking 2 centerfire calibers here, and a 50 grain projectile. So this would qualify below the 1,700 foot-pound, which would apply to all species. In Scotland, small species of deer, roe deer, minimum 1,000 foot-pounds at the muzzle, more than a 50 grain projectile, and 2,450 feet per second at the muzzle. So again, this would qualify for roe deer in Scotland. In all of these cases, the bullet must have a particular design. It must be designed to deform in a predictable manner or be an expanding projectile. So provided you can prove over a chronograph and doing the maths that your 80 grain 243 projectile is meeting that legal minimum, you can use an 80 grain 243 for shooting all species of deer in England, Wales and Scotland. In Northern Ireland, you'd be restricted to muntjac and Chinese water deer. I hope that helps. I don't want to just be here to help with your questions. I want to show you how to use this kit practically out in the field. And of course, at Deer Central, we want to supply you with excellent kit. So jump on our website, see what we have to offer, and get in touch.